What if I told you that nothing in this world can truly affect you unless you let it? Every insult, every setback, every judgment, it only has power if you react. Master your mind, and you master everything. Every small remark, every tiny setback, if all of it gets under your skin, you're handing away your power. The reality is that the strongest people aren't those with fewer problems. They're the ones who have learned how to manage their reactions. Imagine moving through life without being fazed. No more overanalyzing. No more emotional outbursts. Just complete control. In this message, you'll learn how to condition your mind to behave as though nothing can disturb you, so you stop feeling stuck in your emotions and begin taking charge of them. Because once you master this ability, no one and nothing will ever be able to control you again. Life is full of distractions, people's opinions, everyday frustrations, unexpected problems. The world has an endless way of testing your patience, throwing criticism, chaos, and setbacks your way. But what if I told you that real strength comes from learning the art of staying unaffected? Picture yourself walking straight through a storm, calm, composed, without flinching. This is what it means to live as though nothing bothers you. The secret lies in separating your emotions from the events around you. If you let outside events control how you feel, you become a puppet to everything you can't control. But when you train your thoughts to stay steady, you become the leader of your own path. People admire those who remain calm in stressful situations, those who don't fall apart when things go wrong. When you live with this mindset, you carry power without needing to say a word. You move through the world with quiet confidence and strong presence. Think about the most powerful figures in history. They weren't the ones who responded to every insult or challenge with anger. Instead, they carried themselves with calm certainty, as if they knew something nobody else did. Their strength wasn't in fighting or yelling back. It was in staying centered and calm. That's the real power of remaining unaffected. Look at any teaching about self-control or personal success, and you'll find this lesson repeated. Your thoughts shape your actions. What you believe becomes who you are. If you keep reacting emotionally to everything around you, you lose your strength. But if you build a solid mindset that stays steady, the world begins to respond to you differently. The most successful people know this. If you manage your thoughts, you shape your entire life. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. The usual reaction: anger, defense, or trying to fight back. But what happens when you simply smile and walk away? You take away their influence. They were counting on your reaction, and when they don't get it, they're left feeling powerless. You, on the other hand, walk away even stronger, untouched, unbothered. This kind of quiet power is rare, but deeply respected. The same idea applies to disappointment and failure. When people face rejection, most let frustration take over. They lose days, even months, upset over what didn't work. But those who understand the value of being unaffected see failure as feedback. They treat it as a lesson, a chance to adjust and move forward. They don't make failure part of their identity. They learn, adapt, and keep going. So how do you build this kind of emotional control? It starts with daily mental training. Practice pausing before you react. Ask yourself, will this really matter in the long run? Is this reaction worth it? Or am I just giving away my peace? By choosing not to react every time, you create a shield that protects you from the small frustrations of life. Another helpful technique is visualization. Imagine yourself moving through life without being shaken. Picture the version of you who doesn't react to insults, who stays composed under pressure. The more often you see this version of yourself, the more real it becomes. Your mind is powerful. What you picture often, you start to become. Let people wonder how you stay so calm. Let them ask why you're not upset. Because when you act as if nothing bothers you, you quietly control the entire situation. You become a mystery, someone who earns respect but remains a puzzle to others. And in that mystery lies real strength. True power doesn't come from being loud or aggressive. It comes from presence, a calm energy so strong it doesn't need to shout. A quiet presence that earns respect simply by existing. Build this, and you build an unstoppable life. Think about the most grounded people you know. They don't react on impulse. They don't let emotions guide every decision. They pause. They think. They respond with purpose. Not because they don't feel emotions, but because they've learned how to manage them. Emotional control isn't about hiding your feelings. It's about leading them. Picture this. You're in a heated discussion and the other person is trying to upset you. Do you let their words stir your emotions? Or do you smile, knowing their words only carry power if you give it to them? Emotional control is the choice to protect your peace, no matter what others say or do. It's about keeping your inner world stable, unshaken. When you live like this, stress lessens. Your thoughts become clearer. Life's challenges turn into puzzles, not problems. There's a truth you must remember. Your thoughts create your experience. What you focus on becomes your reality. If you let outside events rule your emotions, you become their slave. But when you guide your own thoughts, you become the author of your life. Think of the man who lost everything. His business failed, his savings vanished, he had nothing left. Many would sink into hopelessness. But he didn't. He viewed his failure not as the end, but as a beginning. He saw it as an experience, not a disaster. He knew his greatest asset was his mindset, and because he kept that intact, he was able to rebuild, stronger than before. That's the strength of emotional detachment. When you stop tying your identity to your losses, you free yourself. Most people fail because they're emotionally overwhelmed. They let fear, doubt, and stress push them off course. They begin full of dreams, but quit when things get tough. Those who learn emotional discipline understand that feelings are temporary. They don't let short-term emotions ruin long-term progress. They keep going, because they've trained their minds to turn problems into progress. Building emotional discipline doesn't mean becoming cold or distant. It means you choose how to feel. You don't let others decide that for you. You can still feel happiness, sadness, or excitement, but you stay in charge. Your feelings serve you. You don't serve them. Start practicing this the next time emotions rise. When someone criticizes you, stop for a moment. Watch your feelings without reacting. Ask yourself, does this change anything important in my life? Almost every time, the answer is no. By not reacting, you hold on to your power. Emotional strength also comes from knowing your purpose. When you're clear on what really matters to you, minor issues stop bothering you. Your energy becomes focused and unshakable. You understand that not everything deserves your attention. Those who rule the world are the ones who rule themselves first. The more you strengthen your emotional control, the more powerful you become. While others panic, you stay calm. While others respond without thinking, you respond with clarity. And that gives you an edge most will never understand. Real power isn't about being stronger than others physically. It's not about shouting or demanding attention. It's about quiet confidence. The kind of presence that earns respect without saying a word. When you learn emotional discipline, you don't just survive life. You master it. We've been raised to think we should care deeply about everything. What people think, what they say, whether we're accepted. We're told our value comes from how much we care about others' expectations. But real freedom comes from realizing that most things just don't matter. Next time you catch yourself overthinking something, ask, will this matter in 5 years? If not, let it go. Most things that worry us, comments, mistakes, small failures, fade away over time, and yet, we let them dominate our minds. That's why learning to be unaffected gives you back your peace. Being unaffected isn't the same as not caring at all. It means choosing what matters most. It means knowing that your energy is limited, and saving it for what truly deserves your attention. Not every problem needs your reaction. Not every voice deserves your focus. When you stop reacting to everything, you become more in control. You go from reacting emotionally to responding wisely. And that change, it shifts everything. Think of those you admire the most. They aren't the ones always chasing approval or blowing up at problems. They're the ones who remain calm and certain, no matter what. Those who stay strong and unmoved by the noise of the world know who they truly are. And because of that deep self-awareness, they can't be easily swayed or manipulated. When you begin to adopt this mindset, something powerful starts to unfold. People begin to admire you, not because you're chasing their approval, but because they see you as someone grounded, someone who cannot be shaken. In a world where many are eager to fit in, to be accepted, to follow the crowd, the one who stands steady in their own value holds the real strength. Imagine a situation where someone criticizes you unfairly. The weak-minded often react quickly, trying to defend themselves, over-explaining or lashing out. But the mentally strong stay composed. They understand that words only carry power if they choose to give them that power. By staying silent and calm, they stay in control, not only of the situation but also of themselves. And that level of self-respect earns more admiration than any loud response ever could. This same mindset applies to success. The people who reach greatness are not those who waste time on petty concerns. They're completely focused on their dreams and don't get sidetracked by minor drama or outside opinions. They move with purpose, knowing that every second spent worrying about things that don't matter is time taken away from their progress. So how do you develop this kind of inner calm? Start by looking at how you react. The next time you feel anger, stress, or irritation over something small, stop and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? More often than not, the answer will be no. Teach yourself to let go of anything that doesn't help you grow. Another strong habit is setting clear goals. Define what truly matters to you. Your peace, your growth, your purpose. When your foundation is built on solid self-worth, the opinions and judgments of others start to lose their hold over you. You become unshakable, not because you don't care about anything, but because you care deeply about what's truly important. This is a truth many people never learn. Real strength isn't found in needing praise. It's found in staying stable when others try to bring you down. It's in the ability to leave behind what drains you, to rise above unnecessary conflict, and to stay focused in a world full of distractions. In the end, it's not about becoming careless. It's about becoming wise with your care. It's about deciding where to place your attention and refusing to waste it on things that don't deserve it. Because when you master the skill of staying unaffected by things that don't matter, you don't just survive, you thrive. And in a society where most people are worried about being liked, the one who knows their own worth will always stand out above the rest. Seeking approval is a trap. It gives your happiness to someone else. It makes you rely on their acceptance, which keeps you stuck. But the truth is, no one's opinion of you should be more important than your own. The second you let others decide your value, you give up control of your life. True confidence doesn't come from others. It grows from self-trust, from knowing that you don't need anyone's permission to be yourself. Think about the most captivating people you've ever met. They don't beg for compliments. They don't make themselves smaller to be accepted. They embrace who they are, flaws and all. And that's what gives them strength. Their power lies in their solid sense of self. While others chase approval, they walk their path with confidence and clarity. The desire for approval comes from fear. Fear of being rejected, fear of being judged, fear of being alone. But here's the reality. The more you chase approval, the more of your power you give away. You start living by others' rules, shaping yourself to meet their expectations. And in doing that, you abandon your true self. Real freedom begins when you let go of the need to be liked by everyone. The idea of universal approval is an illusion. No matter how kind or talented you are, some people will always have something negative to say. Some will love what you do. Some will criticize. And many just won't care at all. So why waste your time trying to impress them? Think about the people who truly make a difference. Leaders, creators, visionaries. They don't spend time trying to blend in. They are guided by inner passion and a clear sense of purpose. They face judgment and still move forward. Their self-confidence is built on something much deeper than public opinion. It's built on inner belief. And that's what makes them unstoppable. If you want to escape the trap of approval, start by asking yourself, whose opinion really matters? Often, the loudest opinions come from people who don't understand your journey. Their views only matter if you let them. Another key habit is learning to recognize your own progress. Celebrate your victories, no matter how small. When you begin to see your own value, outside applause stops feeling so important. You no longer need praise to feel worthy. You just know that you are. Letting go of outside validation doesn't mean becoming proud or uncaring. It means being sure of who you are. It means trusting your own decisions and not letting others control your path. It means understanding that your value is not open to debate. The moment you stop chasing approval is the moment you start living honestly. You no longer change your words, your actions, or your dreams to fit someone else's expectations. You start living with realness, with courage, and with direction that cannot be shaken. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will support you. And that's perfectly okay. The people who matter will respect you not because you seek their approval, but because you don't need it. So choose yourself. Stay true to your beliefs, your values, your vision. Stop relying on outside praise and step into the power of self-respect. Because once you do, you become impossible to shake. Not because everyone agrees with you, but because you no longer need them to. Criticism is something you'll always face. But how you respond to it shows your true strength. Many people fall apart when they are judged. They take every word personally, letting it define them, guide their choices, and weaken their spirit. But why? Criticism is just a collection of opinions and perspectives, often from people who know nothing about your story. It only has power if you let it. When you respond emotionally, criticism controls you. When you respond with logic, you stay in charge. The strongest people don't get shaken by it. They look at it clearly, take what's useful, and leave the rest. No drama, no overreaction, just attention to what really matters. There are two kinds of criticism. The first is helpful. It's called constructive criticism. It helps you get better. It usually comes from people who have experience, who understand what you're trying to do, and who genuinely want to help. This kind of feedback should be welcomed. The second kind is harmful. It's called destructive criticism. It's designed to bring you down. It often comes from people who are jealous, insecure, or don't understand you. These opinions mean nothing unless you make the mistake of taking them to heart. Picture an artist working on a beautiful sculpture. As he shapes the stone, people gather to watch. Some admire his skill. Some offer advice. Others laugh or criticize. Does he quit because of the negative voices? No. He keeps going, guided by his own vision, tuning out the noise. That's how you must treat criticism. When someone criticizes you, ask, does this person have the knowledge or experience to judge me? If yes, think about what they said. If not, move on. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Most negative comments come from people who have never done what you're trying to do. Their words reflect their own limits, not yours. Criticism tests your emotional strength. Weak people react without thinking. They get angry, argue, or hide. Strong people stay calm. They listen, think, and don't let it ruin their peace. When you respond to criticism with calm confidence, you show the world that you can't be shaken easily. Think of the greatest minds in history. Leaders, artists, thinkers. They all faced harsh criticism. People doubted them, questioned their ideas, but they kept going. Their ability to stay strong when others tried to bring them down is what made them great. They knew that criticism is often the price of doing something important. To build this mindset, practice staying calm. The next time someone criticizes you, pause. Don't react right away. Ask yourself if there's anything useful in what they said. If yes, learn from it. If not, let it go. When you do this often, you free yourself from the emotional weight of needing approval. Another useful habit is reminding yourself of your worth. Look at how far you've come. Trust your growth. When you believe in your path, no outside comment can shake your peace. When you truly believe in your past, outside opinions start to lose their hold on you. Real confidence comes from inside, not from whether others approve or not. The moment you understand this, you become resistant to shallow criticism. The world will always have something to say. Some people will admire you, others will question you, but in the end, the only judgment that genuinely matters is your own. Real strength is found in being able to hear criticism, think about it logically, and move ahead without losing your direction. So, the next time someone criticizes you, remember it's just noise. Learn from it if it makes sense, but never let it shape who you are. The strongest individuals don't fear criticism. They either learn from it or ignore it altogether. Stay calm under pressure. Pressure reveals character. Some people crack, others give in, but the strong ones, they remain firm. Why? Because they prepare their minds long before the storm ever hits. They understand that pressure isn't unusual, it's guaranteed. And when you expect challenges, they no longer shock you. The key is to let go of the desire to control everything. Understand this. Not everything will go as planned. People will let you down. Obstacles will show up. Unexpected problems will arise. But you, don't react with emotion. Respond with strategy, with calm and clear thinking. Many people fall apart under pressure because they resist the truth. They expect life to be smooth, stable, and within their grasp. When it's not, they panic. They complain. They freeze. But those who learn to welcome the unknown, they adjust. They move with the storm instead of fighting it. Think about an experienced warrior. He doesn't go into battle expecting it to be easy. He expects pushback, ambushes, and hidden dangers. Yet he stays composed. Why? Because he's already accepted that conflict is part of the path. He doesn't waste time wishing things were easier. He puts his focus on action. You must take on the same way of thinking. The world will test you. It will throw pressure, failure, and doubt in your way. But if you've trained yourself to stay calm when it matters, nothing will shake you. While others lose control, you'll move with clarity. You won't react, you'll respond. There is great power in learning to stay in control, not of the world, but of yourself. When you stop needing everything to go your way, you become unstoppable. When you accept that pressure is part of life, you stop being afraid of it. Instead, you start to see it as a chance to sharpen your inner strength. Look at the greatest leaders, the people who never seem to break. They don't panic in chaos. They don't fall apart when things go wrong. They radiate peace, certainty, and control. That's what makes them different. People notice them and wonder, how do they stay so calm when everyone else is falling apart? It's because they've trained their minds to expect struggle. They've practiced how they will respond before the moment comes. They know that emotions get in the way of good judgment. So, they step back from unnecessary feelings. They choose logic over fear. And by doing that, they hold an edge that most people never develop. To build this kind of inner strength, start by changing the way you look at pressure. See it as a challenge, a test of your self-discipline. When stress rises, challenge yourself to stay calm. Watch your emotions without letting them control what you do. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Another important habit is preparation. The most resilient people don't wait for pressure to hit. They train for it ahead of time. Think through the worst-case scenarios. Train your mind to stay steady, no matter what. When you do that, nothing can catch you by surprise. You become a planner, not just a person who reacts. Most people move through life unprepared. They rely on hope instead of discipline. They assume things will go smoothly, and when that doesn't happen, they fall apart. But people who prepare for difficulty don't break. They don't give in. They stay strong, no matter what. So next time pressure starts building, remind yourself, this is your moment. This is your chance to show control. While others lose their heads, you'll keep breathing. While they rush, you'll think clearly. And when the storm is over, you'll still be standing, steady, calm, and unshaken. Let go of what you can't control. Much of our pain comes from holding too tightly to outcomes, to how we want things to go, to how we think life should unfold. When reality doesn't match our wishes, we feel hurt. But true mental strength is found in learning to release that grip. Imagine a river. Water flows around barriers without resistance. It doesn't demand that rocks move. It doesn't stop when it faces an obstacle. It simply adapts. That's how you must treat life. Some things will happen no matter how much you worry. The job you didn't get. The person who left. The failure you didn't see coming. You can resist and suffer, or you can adjust and keep going. The choice is always yours. Letting go isn't the same as giving up. It's about focusing on what you can influence. Holding on to expectations makes you weak. It keeps you stuck in frustration, replaying old memories, wondering what could have gone differently. But when you accept that some things are out of your hands, you free yourself from needless pain. Think of the strongest people you know. They aren't the ones fighting against reality. They're the ones who stay calm in the face of the unknown. They've mastered letting go, not of life, but of the false idea that they can control everything. They realize life is uncertain, and peace comes when you move with it, not against it. Most people try to force results. They tie their happiness to specific outcomes. If things go as planned, they're content. If not, they break down. That's a fragile way to live. Strength lies in being flexible. When you're not stuck on specific outcomes, you build a mental toughness that can't be broken. No event, no setback, no failure can take you down. The key is awareness. Next time you feel yourself holding on too tightly to a person, a goal, or a hope, stop and ask, can I actually control this? If the answer is no, let it go. Don't waste your energy. Use it to take steps that actually move you forward. Letting go is a skill, and like all skills, it takes time. Start small. Let go of little things, the long wait in line, the traffic jam, the changed plans. Notice how peaceful it feels not to react, not to let outside things ruin your mood. Over time, apply this thinking to bigger problems. Some might confuse letting go with not caring, but that's a mistake. Indifference means you've stopped trying. Letting go means you're fully engaged, but not ruled by fear. You care deeply, but you don't fall apart when things don't go as hoped. The moment you learn to let go of what you can't control, you become unshakable. You move through life with a peace that others can't explain. While they are caught up in anger or regret, you remain calm and collected. They wonder why nothing seems to disturb your peace. The answer? You've learned to release what doesn't serve you. So stop resisting. Accept what comes. Adjust when needed. And always remember, the strongest minds do not cling. They flow. Like the river, they move forward untouched by the rocks in their path. Silence is a quiet kind of power. In a world that never stops talking, silence becomes a hidden weapon. Most people speak to fill the space, to feel seen, to prove a point. But the most powerful individuals, they speak only when needed. They listen. They observe. They think deeply. And when they finally speak, every word carries strength. Silence can make people uneasy. It causes them to overthink, to wonder what's on your mind. In any conversation, the one who speaks less often holds more control. Talking reveals your thoughts. Silence hides them. When you master silence, you shift the balance of power. You gain control over discussions, over how people view you, over how situations unfold. Most people hate silence. They rush to fill it, with excuses, with extra words, with explanations. But when you stay quiet, you make others talk more. And the more they speak, the more they show what they want, what they fear, who they really are. While you stay silent, you stay strong. And in that silence lies your true advantage. The longer you delay, the more unsettled they become. They begin to second-guess themselves. They start filling the silence with better offers, with concessions, with desperation. Why? Because silence builds tension, and tension creates leverage. The same rule applies in everyday moments. The next time someone disrespects you, remain quiet. Most people expect a reaction, anger, defense, retaliation. But when you offer them nothing, they lose influence over you. They start wondering whether their words had any impact. They begin to feel awkward. Your silence forces them to sit with their own emotions instead of feeding off yours. Silence is also a powerful tool for observing. When you speak less, you notice more. You catch the hesitation in someone's voice, the nervous fidget in their movements, the mismatch between their words and their actions. Most people overlook these signs because they're too focused on talking. But once you understand silence, you become a tactician. You gather insights while giving nothing away. There's a reason why the most powerful people aren't the loudest. They're the ones who pick their words with care. They don't waste energy on empty noise. They realize that saying less doesn't mean knowing less. Often, it means knowing much more. If you want to gain strength through silence, begin by practicing self-control. In your next conversation, take a moment before speaking. Pay attention to the environment. Listen more than you speak. Let others show who they are first. The less you say, the more people will want to hear when you do speak. Another way to use silence is by embracing it in emotionally intense situations. When you're upset, be quiet. When you're insulted, stay quiet. When someone pressures you for a quick answer, delay it. The ability to manage your words in heated moments is one of the clearest signs of inner strength, and strength earns respect. Strong people do not react to everything. They don't let emotions dictate what they say. They understand that silence itself can be a reply. A brief pause can express more than a whole sentence. A few quiet seconds can shift the entire direction of an exchange. So, the next time someone is trying to provoke you into responding, don't say nothing. Let them guess. Let them expose themselves. Then watch as the balance of power turns in your favor. In a world where everyone is fighting to be heard, the one who holds their tongue often holds the greatest influence. If you can master silence, you can master control. Train yourself to stay calm, no matter what. Your mind is your battlefield. The thoughts you allow inside will decide whether you win or lose. Every fear, every doubt, every hesitation, they are enemies you must overcome. The strongest minds aren't free from negativity. They've simply learned how not to let it control them. To create an unshakable mindset, you must develop solid mental habits. Use gratitude to counter negative thinking. Practice discipline to push through laziness. Learn detachment to ease your suffering. Just like muscles grow through resistance, the mind grows stronger through daily training. You can't expect mental strength to show up during a crisis if you haven't been preparing for it. Each day, you must practice being unaffected. Pause before reacting. Take a breath before you speak. Most people are slaves to their feelings. They react too fast, act out of fear, give in to frustration. But those who guide their minds end up guiding their lives. This is how warriors think. This is how great leaders function. They don't let distractions, failures, or offenses break their rhythm. They walk through life with deep inner calm, a calm that others can't easily understand. And because of this, they become unshakable. Know this: mental toughness is shaped in small daily actions. It's found in waking up early even when you want to stay in bed. It's choosing silence over pointless arguments. It's continuing forward when you feel like giving up. The mind, like any muscle, gets stronger when tested. Every obstacle is a chance to toughen it. One of the most powerful habits you can adopt is detachment. When you learn to distance yourself from emotions, from results, and from outside chaos, you gain an edge over those who constantly react. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's knowing that while you can't control everything, you can always control how you respond. Picture a storm. Most people get swept up in the winds, thrown around by events they can't manage. But those with unshakable minds stay rooted. They let the storm rage around them while they stand still. They don't waste energy resisting what they cannot change. They save their strength for what matters. Discipline is another key to mental strength. The mind naturally chases comfort, ease, and shortcuts. That's why so many never reach their full power. They fall for distractions, delay their tasks, and doubt themselves. But discipline changes everything. When you consistently pick action over comfort, you reshape who you are. You become unstoppable. Start small. Build habits that strengthen your mindset. Meditate to build focus. Exercise to reinforce discipline. Read to stretch your mind. Keep your promises to yourself, even the little ones. With time, these simple efforts form something powerful, an unshakable mind. Life will challenge you. People will push your limits. Difficulties will block your path. But once you've trained your mind, nothing from the outside can throw you off. You'll move through the world with calm, control, and quiet power. And when others wonder how you stay so steady, so calm, so unaffected, you'll know. You built this. You prepared for this. And no one can take that from you. Real strength moves quietly. It doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't need approval. It simply acts, and lets the outcomes speak for themselves. The ones who make the most noise are usually the ones with the least power. They want to be noticed. They talk about their plans. They need others to believe in them. But the truly strong, they act with focus, in silence. If you want respect, stop broadcasting your ideas. Don't feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. Just put in the work. Just keep improving. Achievements come from actions, not announcements. The more you talk, the more doubts you invite. But when you work quietly, no one sees you coming, and by the time they do, it's too late. Powerful individuals don't drain energy proving themselves. They let their results do that. They don't argue. They don't try to impress. They don't over-explain. They move with confidence, and that confidence draws respect. When you stop searching for approval, you become unstoppable. That's why the most impactful people in history weren't constantly sharing their plans. They knew that power lies in doing, not in promising. They didn't try to convince those who couldn't understand. They just created, built, and succeeded, quietly. If you want to live this way, start by keeping your goals to yourself. Work hard, but don't seek applause. Let people guess your next move. Let them wonder how you stay so calm and steady. The less they know, the more control you have. Silence isn't weakness. It's a tactic. It makes people unsure. It makes them guess. And in that confusion, you gain control. When you do speak, your words will carry weight. People will listen, not because you demand it, but because they know you only speak when it matters. In a world full of noise, be the one who doesn't need recognition. While others chase attention, you chase mastery. While they work on looking successful, you focus on truly becoming successful. That's the real difference between those who talk about greatness and those who live it. If you feel like explaining yourself, don't. If you feel like proving something, hold back. Let your results be your proof. Once you stop needing others to validate you, you'll notice something. They'll start paying attention. They'll wonder how you do it. They'll ask why you never seem shaken. And that's when you'll know you've mastered the game. Not because you said so, but because your actions said it all, in silence.